This is the city, Oklahoma City. Geographically, it is a flyover state no one cares about. Some drive the dreary and boring streets in a cage. Some dodge potholes on two wheels. That's where I come in. I wear the helmet. It was April 1st and it was cool in the city. I happened upon the dealer, Indian of OKC, and I remembered. Not everybody knows what I have done yet. So I thought that it was time to tell you. My partner is the wind. My name's Rabid Hedgehog.
So, in all reality, who didn't see this coming? I mean, we're still trying to return the normal after COVID-19. We're still trying to do all this, but there was a lot of riding last year, and everybody should remember, I had 1 week alone with one of these. That's right, the FTR 1200S race replica. My very own. Who didn't see me trading in the Bagger, which I loved the Chieftain so much. But you know what? It's not my style yet. Not quite. Do I like it? Yeah, love the Chieftain. Great comfortable bike, good long range bike, but I'm still in the city. I still have a lot of places to go that's not really Bagger friendly sometimes. You can see that I've got this thing muddy pretty good. Still got to get this thing cleaned up a little bit here and there. I know the top end is, but the bottom I got to work on. But see the Akrapovic exhaust, titanium for the race replica. You can already see that I've added a few things. This is not the same bike I took out for the week. This is a completely different one. This one's my own. This one's brand new. It was in the crate still, so all the mileage is mine. I've added on the messenger bag, which is all weather. I'm going to get the little top case for the back here. It's on an order, but they're not quite ready yet. They're coming out on sometime, I think, in the next week or so. So they're coming up. But yeah, that's right. Rabid Hedgehog finally stopped talking about FTR. Got the FTR. Well, what about the Chief? You know, between it and this bike, they would replace the Chieftain quite nicely. And to be honest, I might still go after a Chief. I don't know yet. Depends on what the wife is going to end up doing. If she decides to keep the Scout or not. If she decides not to keep the Scout, it'll definitely become a Chief. Because I like the Chief quite a bit better. And of course, it fits my frame better. So you can see 726.8 miles in about 3 weeks now, I guess. So it's getting close to about 3 week mark. Of course, I trade off between 4 different bikes, the CX500, the Van 200, the Scout, and this one here. So this bike gets duty every other day or so. Now we know this is the 2019 version, so this one has the older wheel package, the flat track style tires, as you can see there. It has 19-inch front, 18-inch rear. Of course, it has the big old Brembo brakes still. All the technology is still here. You know, you've got your gauges that you can flip out by doing that. Odometer that you can click on. Of course, with gloves, I can't quite feel what I'm doing here. Temperature, fuel gauge, outside compass. So you got all that good stuff right there. And of course, you have your phone, Bluetooth music. If you got it, you can see my phone's connected. I don't have my headset connected to it right now, but I can. All your modes right there. There's track mode, turn ABS off, sport, rain, automatic, brightness, all that good stuff. Gauges, settings. You can go through here and take a look at your diagnostics and figure out if you've got a misfire going on. You can set time from GPS or change it to your own self. All the fun themes and everything that you can do. You can see that I've got it on auto theme, day, night, night's black, day, white, all that fun stuff. Bluetooth devices, all that good stuff is right there. And of course your VIN number, software number, total mileage, next oil change, all that good stuff is right there. Notice that's a big old interval, about a 10,000 mile interval on oil. Of course you got every 2,500 miles inspecting the chain and all that good stuff. So typical things when you got a chain driven bike. Of course you want to Lubricate the chain every about 400 to 600 miles. More if it's more severe, if it's wet. Every time it gets wet, just think about it this way. If it rains, lube the chain. If it looks wet outside, lube the chain. Never hurts to keep on lubing the chains and stuff like that, making sure that they are golden and happy, because you don't want an unhappy chain. Now, of course, right now I am running in the old standard mode here, so I'm not going to be wheeling and bopping and doing all that fun stuff. I will tell you, this machine here is a Willy machine monster. This bad boy will stand 12 o'clock without any help. No dumping clutches, no nothing. You just pull that throttle, and without any ABS or traction control or APU or anything like that on, that front wheel is more than obliged to come on up. In almost every gear set, it feels like. That's the crazy part. Of course, it's all the torque. This bike is very linear on torque. And it's very happy to accelerate too. Already to highway speeds without really thinking about life. Yeah, it's happy right there. I'll go ahead and get the cruise control set. That is a great feature for a standard bike. I mean, this bike sang to me every time I rode one. From the first time riding the very first one I ever rode, which was the basic, to the S, to the week long with the race replica, this configuration is the one that sang to me the most. I liked the new configuration on the R Carbon. I accidentally called it the Carbon R, but it's the R Carbon. My mistake. The 17-inch wheels and everything, like I said, you could probably eke out a little bit more turning. But, you know, the thing is, the character of this machine, the way it rides, the longer traveling suspension to me is better on this one. Of course, it's not Öhlins like on the new Carbon R. It's a different system, but it's still fully adjustable when you're on the race replica. And the S models, you have full adjustable shocks on this machine, so you can do rebound dampening and everything. And the thing is, you get almost 6 inches of suspension travel, which is more than about 2 inches than the new one. And to me, that's just better. And it rides better that way. I mean, it's more comfortable around town. We know the roads here from all my videos before are horrifying. The potholes, the hits, everything that you can nail are, you know, monstrous compared to a lot of places. And I'd rather have the longer travel suspension than the new shorter travel and sportiness. But to me, this one seems to be just fine. And I'm very happy to own one. Like I said, I don't think I was quite ready for bagger life. I've mentioned in videos prior that when it comes to all the fancy foo-foo tech like navigation and radio and all that, to be honest, there was many times that the radio was never on or anything was connected. I mean, you could see in my playlist here, not provided, because I don't have anything on. I don't even play anything through this one. I just enjoy riding to ride. If I've got to listen to music and not the sounds of the road and the sounds of the bike, then that's not really riding and getting into the spirit of the ride now, is it? Riding is about getting out there and enjoying what's around you, enjoying the sights, the sounds, the people. Get that wave going on there. It's about enjoying the feel of the road, the sound of the road, the movement, the wind. It's not about your favorite playlist. It's about letting this road sing to you and the wind tell you it's going to be better. And the thing is, you can't have that with a fairing. You can't have that with a radio all over the place. You can't have that with all the foo-foo stuff. Sometimes you just need a basic brawler, even if it has some techno wizardry. Sometimes it's just better to have this and enjoy the ride and enjoy getting on there. So like I said, who didn't see me coming back to a bike like this and downsizing? So no, I don't have a bagger whatsoever anymore. No more Moto Guzzi, MGX21, or Chieftain. It's about having something that's small, fast, and nimble. It's about having something that can cut through the city like no other. And before, you know, I rode that one for the week. I had a lot of fun on that bike, and I had used it for utility. Like, I had a replacement seat for the Chieftain strapped to the back of it the very first day. It didn't even have the luggage rack. It was just strapped to the seat, around the passenger handles and all that, and we still got it up to the house and made it work. We still carried a whole bunch of stuff on it. You can see the messenger bag is on this one right now, and it's been really good. It holds my camera bags, it holds my drinks, it holds everything that I like to throw in there. I'm still waiting on that tail bag, so we'll talk about that when we get there. So it's just a great bike for commuting in the city. And my life has truly changed over the course of this last year. With COVID and everything, you know, there was lockdowns, there was all this stuff, so the roads were wide open. Yes, the path to get home was a lot shorter, so was the path to work. Because since then, I've actually had a promotion. I'm now an assistant manager, the job I'm normally at. So I have that to be thankful for. And that to work with, so I have a lot more travel, 30 miles, you know, 30 minutes, 30 miles, whatever it might be. I think it's 25-ish miles, but between work and home now, of course, that's a one-way, not two-way, so anywhere between 50 and 60 miles a day, depending on how I have to get home and traffic and all that fun stuff. Oh, by the way, everybody who complains, look at the grooves on this road. You notice this thing is not tracking wrong. Everybody's like, oh, when it hits a groove, it goes all over the place. The wheels are terrible. Don't buy this bike. Don't listen to them. Just learn to put your weight on the front end of it so that way it tracks. Even if I get stuck in that little gully, even my big Chieftain would every once in a while get thrown off by a bigger gully like that, but that's every bike, for Pete's sake. So I don't have any problems with the rain gullies or anything like that. Even if I move over to this bigger one here, now I'm in it, this bike isn't moving around. In fact, it's staying true to what it's supposed to do. I can get it right out if I need to. See, I can move around. Everything a nice flick of the wrist. This bike has always been a bike about precision handling to me, and it's almost thinking for you. It's on rails. So easy to ride this machine, and it's so brutal. I mean, this bike will do a quarter mile from a dead stop to 119 miles an hour in 11 seconds. And that's just shy of the hard limiter on this thing of 124 mile an hour top. So that's an impressive feat to get to top speed almost in only about 11 seconds. It does not take much at all. And like I said, it's very, very happy when it comes to riding. Get this bike warm. Wake up in the morning, go outside, start it up, let it choke on you, let it be angry with you in the cold start for a couple of moments. So anyway, this one spits out a little bit closer to the combustion chamber versus the new one, which spits in more closer to the intake side. So this one's a little bit different, more of a direct injection style versus the new one. That's what the head change was, to try to alleviate some of those cold starts. But just get up, go outside, wake it up, and get it to about 140 degrees and go for a ride. I know everybody's like, well, this is a modern bike, it's fuel injection. We shouldn't have to do that. High performance is high performance. Let the bike warm up. Let your fluids get going. This is only a semi-dry sump, so you might want to have some fluid moving before you get going, especially with an engine like this. You want to keep it lubricated. Maybe even up your fuel, get a power commander, get something that can update the thing. I think the only thing that truly is wrong with it, the more I've owned this one, is I don't think they put a high idle circuit in it, or they're not closing off the loop for the high idle, and it's causing it to not really boost up in idle, so that way it can warm up easier. I think that's its actual problem. I don't think it has anything to do with the position of its intake. I think it just needed a little bit higher idle speed. maybe have it idle at 18 to 2100 versus 1200 to, you know, wherever it's at. That could help it out on the warm side, and that way it can get going a lot better in the morning. So that's the only thing I think that Indian could have done, and not really have to change the head design. I don't know, I'm not an engineer. I just see what's going on. I've been a mechanic, and the way it's acting, like I said, I don't ever see it change its circuit between idle, cold, or idle, regular. So when this bike is 173 degrees and idling, it idles the same at 50 degrees. So that's just my opinion, that they needed to put a high idle circuit in it, close the loop, do something, so that way it could build some heat faster, build a little bit more rev, and keep it running for a little bit, and then you could take off a little bit faster without that cold idle problem. Of course, a lot of people, that's what they do when they alleviate it with their power visions and stuff like that, which is something I'll probably invest in for this motorcycle, getting one of those 400 power visions. So, like I said, you can see that I've already got the racks going and everything like that. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the rally bar. It's on order. I'm waiting for it to come in, so that way I can pull the bar up just a little bit. So I'm going to get that installed on it next. And I might put the little fly screen on it, not the big windscreen. I hate the big windscreen, but the little fly screen to make it look cool. I got some ideas for this one. I'm already starting to customize this bike. This is the first bike, besides maybe the Harley Fat Bob, that I've actually done custom work that I intended to do to it. Because the Fat Bob, I got the windshield, I got the sissy bar, I got the back pads, I got the saddlebags, got everything for that one. You know, with some intent to keep going, but turns out the Fat Bob was what somebody else wanted, and they offered me good money for it, so I sold it and got the night rod. But this bike is kind of like that Fat Bob back in the day. It's the bike I wanted so bad that I already started doing it, because a lot of bikes I've talked about doing modifications to and never end up doing it. And with this bike, I actually started doing modifications on within the first week to get the luggage on there and to start making it useful for around town. So I really love this freaking bike. Now in the few weeks that I've had it, because like I said, it's almost been a month. It'll be a month sometime next week, I think it is. And once we hit that month mark, I'll probably be a little over 1,000 miles on it already. I've already done first service on it. That comes at 500 miles, so that's been done. First service isn't too bad. If you're spending some money at the dealership, it's about $235 or something like that, so it's not terrifying. Get you an oil change and inspection, all that good stuff. They look around everything, work on the chain, make sure it's at tension and all that stuff. It's stuff I can do, but just letting you guys know what it actually costs if you were to go to your dealership. Should be around $235, depending on their hourly rate, of course. If their hourly rate's around $100 an hour, somewhere in there, which isn't uncommon anymore. Maybe 110, you might be looking about $250. So that's real world operating cost. When you're riding it, you get about 100 miles per tank, up to 130. And I have seen 127. So like I said, you could get to 130. I said that in my week-long review. Now I've witnessed it because I went ahead and pushed it. And of course, this one is a 3.4 gallon gas tank versus the Scout's 3.3. And right at that 127 mark, I put in around 3.18 gallons. So it's getting close to bingo fuel for sure, you know, on the pickups and all that. But it definitely could have seen probably 130. It probably could have made it without any issue. So just know how you ride it will decide on that. That particular fuel tank got 39 to the gallon roughly. So I've seen anywhere, the first time I filled it up, I saw about, not 20, it was 20 something, because these things are fun to fill up. I showed you that in the video. You have to do kind of a rickamaroo to make sure it gets fully full. But whenever you just fill it up and you see it pop for the first time, you think it's full, and you shut the lid, it'll give you a bad reading because you weren't fully full. So when I got the first actual full tank of gas through it, it was about 32 miles per gallon. The second, 34, 35. The third, about 37, 38. and it's been 38 to almost 40 a couple of times now. So it has been getting up there in mileage. You know, I've been keeping it in standard mode, not really putting my wrist into it. Cruise control definitely helps you keep your wrist out of it, so that way you're just cruising. And it's very helpful. I really like the cruise control on this thing, especially going around town as far as I go now on a 30-minute trip to the job. Keeps me out of trouble, keeps me from using too much gas. Going to and from work, you know, like I said, you get about 130 miles, so about 3 days worth of back and forth before you're really needing to fill up with fuel, maybe 4 days if you can hit it right. So, you know, it's been a great pleasure. In fact, it's almost been about as much fuel as the Chieftain was, and the Chieftain, of course, had a bigger gas tank. So it could go a little bit further, of course, but it was getting about the same mileage in some cases, especially if I had to warm up in the morning. 39 per gallon, 38, 37 was not unheard of on that Chieftain either, but it could get up to 43, 44 to the gallon, and I haven't quite seen that yet with this bike. Of course, we're at 743 miles now, so we're trying to get up there, and we're going to see if we can get that eventually with this machine here. So we're going to be talking about the FTR on this channel for a while to come. I know it seems like I change out bikes quite a bit, but just note the CX500's been around for over 2 years now, and the Scout's been around for over 2 years. It's just me being stupid and going for motorcycles that I don't necessarily hate and think I want, and it turns out all I want is something simple. All I want is something fun, and that's what I should stick with more often. And that's what we got here with the FTR. So, once again, who didn't see this coming? So, at any rate, I want to thank Law Tigers of Oklahoma for helping us out with the camera gear and everything like that. They do provide a little bit of assistance here and there, keeping this channel going, keeping us safe and protected. If we go down by another driver or something like that, they're there for us, but they also ride with us. And also, I want to thank AGV Sport USA for this amazing clothing. Once again, we're using today the Mayhem glove and the Flex Textile jacket. So right now it's 65 degrees. I still got the liner in this jacket, and it's working out rather well. So happy to report that it's been a great jacket over the winter. It's kept me warm, kept me going, and now it's transitioning into spring, keeping me kind of warm, kind of cool at the same time. So great overall jacket. I'll have to do a video dedicated to it eventually. So at any rate, this is the Rabid Hedgehog. If you have any questions about the Indian FTR 1200S, just let me know in the comments below. I'll be happy to answer them. I've got a lot of ride time on these machines, and they are absolutely fantastic. One of the best bikes I've ever rode, and definitely one that I'm so happy to have my own now. So at any rate, keep that shiny side up, folks. We'll catch you on the next ride.
What's up, everybody? This is the Rabid Hedgehog. We once again want to thank you for watching our videos. Please like, share, subscribe today, and if you like what you see, mash that notification button so that way you get our latest videos and notifications live and on the spot. We also want to thank our dealership partners, Indian of Oklahoma City, House of Kawasaki, and Motovcycle Works Moto Guzzi, who is also our motorcycle mechanic. We want to thank them for allowing us to ride their rides. We are not paid in by any way by any manufacturer or dealer. We just get to be men and women with opinions. We also want to reach out to our sponsors and thank them. We have Law Tigers Motorcycle Lawyers. These motorcycle lawyers are mostly nationwide and can be reached 24/7 at lawtigers.com or 1-888-868-0208. We also want to thank our newest sponsor for gear and the things that you see us wearing, AGV Sport USA. They are out of AGVSportUSA.com in Flower Mound, Texas. We also want to thank Doug Crawford and AMS Oil for protecting our machines with the latest in lubrication technologies. He can be found at usasynthetics.com or 405-388-6170. And also for Derek Enloe and Associates Insurance Company, he can be found at 405-261-1010. Once again, everybody, keep that shiny side up, and we'll catch you on the next ride.